In this video, we're going to focus on our final quadrant of our Where Do I Fit In chart and look at the role-playing storyteller. Let's dive into it. The role-playing storyteller, in my opinion, is the most creative of the quadrants and really focuses on story as a whole, both the story of the campaign, the story of the party, the story of the characters, and is looking at creating an interactive story with others around them. So looking at the first axis of story to mechanics, the focus here is all on story. And of course, the higher you go up, the more the story of the character is necessary for the character survival and story conclusion. But starting lower down, there's feasibility of interactions and outcomes based on storytelling elements, story flows and changes based on character interactions. Characters and NPCs are immune to mechanics for story agency. And at the very top, characters or NPCs are immune to mechanics for story agency. So what I mean by that is the characters may face difficulties and failures. However, there may be a third party that comes in. A diva comes in and slays something or carries them away, or suddenly there's a teleportation as they're yanked out of danger. There's always a reason for the characters to continue going on. So the story goes on and the characters are immune from mechanical failures. Now the next axis is role play, rolling play, or how does the player interact as their character at the table, or the DM as NPCs, etc. So starting on the left, this is more their pre-planning, their character start, their class, their race, and it's all about story. They're building out the character that they want to play. However, the story may shape their progression. And based on their interactions, how they're determining what they're interacting with in the world will determine how they interact with it, what stats they roll, and if they roll at all. Moving further to the right, it's just more interaction of the player as their character. So descriptions are provided for immersion and flavor. There's little bearing on play, but they'll spend more time talking about what they're wearing, what they're doing, what they look like, who they're talking to, etc. And it doesn't have a whole lot of bearing on play, but it's more about a storytelling experience, allowing the story to lead the character or the NPC, their development and progression without concern of balance or mechanics. So this is someone who's going to pick a character and not plan their progression, what they're going to multi-class into or anything like that. They're going to let the story dictate what happens to their player. And then finally, role play should determine every interaction. So this is someone who, if they're good at fast talking and persuasion, they're going to try to interact with the GM or DM to conduct those experiences and not rely on the stats of their character. Although I should note that most of the time they will be role-playing based on the stats of their character. So they're not always in opposition of each other. But it's something that they enjoy to do, is to act out the interactions that their character would be trying to do. And they won't be opposed to rolling, of course. It's just their preference that they would rather act it out some and then may have to roll a dice, but they'd prefer just to act it out. And of course, if you're a role-playing storyteller, if you are looking mostly at the characters completing the story, not having to do a whole lot of rolling or mechanics, but just together cooperative storytelling, you're going to be in that upper right corner. That's what I call the LARPer. They're not there for the mechanics, they're there for the story and the experience. Now, if you're given good descriptions of the environment or NPCs and you want to interact and really give descriptive interactions of what you want to do, how you want to interact with it, and kind of use that to give determination of what checks or items are needed to roll to see if there's a outcome that's going to impact the story. You may be on that kind of lower left or mid left tier. And if you want to do that same thing but kind of utilize your skills as a player to overcome those obstacles set in front of you for the environment, you're going to be at the same level but further to the right. And if you're not going into full theater mode, you want to have actual outcomes of the dice and see how the stats of your character stack up to the story and what happens to the story as you have successes and failures. You're going to be further to the left and not quite as high up. You know your character will have an impact statistically and mechanically on the story and on the environment. However, it's not going to be a detriment to the story. It's not going to, a failure will not end the game. It'll just cause challenges or create other types of interactions in the environment. So that is the final quadrant of our role-playing storyteller. And the role-playing storyteller, again, I a couple of times said it was somewhat theater and LARP, and really that is what this boils down to. The role-playing and story elements are more important than the mechanics and dice rolls that impact the overall game. They're there to have an expressive and interactive opportunity to game with others who will take enjoyment of discussing backstories and backgrounds and finding opportunities to connect with each other on a more emotional level via their characters. This type of role-playing is a lot more challenging because it takes a lot of trust, a lot of good communication, and a lot of creativity. So not everybody is going to be able to jump right into this, especially if you're new at a game, if you're just starting, if you are not comfortable in the environment that you're gaming in. You're not going to be able to break down some of your walls and start being a role-playing storyteller. However, there are some out there who can right off the bat. They've got a lot of improv skills and they are very comfortable utilizing those improv and acting skills. So when you find those diamonds in the rough, definitely hold on to them. And as you build up in your gaming community, as you get more familiarity and comfort level with your gaming community, you're going to find yourself moving through these tiers in all different ways and shapes. There will be some stories that you'll game in where you'll need to be in that role-playing storyteller tier because it's all about the story. It's focused on the story of the characters, the story of the game world. You'll find opportunity where you'll be able to step into these based on different types of games as well. So if you are one of those creative and outgoing personalities who can improv and you enjoy using different voices and possibly emulating different characters from different genres, the role-playing storyteller may suit you really well. And if you are comfortable with that, but not really with a lot of strangers, if you find yourself looking at these quadrants and really communicating where you fit in and the type of other gamers you're looking for, you can find more role-playing storytellers that you'll be able to connect with quickly because you've got a lot of commonality, which will allow you to really dive into your role-playing storyteller set and enjoy your games from that aspect quickly and more easily, and with others who are going to support and emulate off of you and play off of each other for a lot of good emotional storytelling. and that is the last quadrant of our graph of where do I fit in. I hope this has been beneficial and helpful for you to be able to determine what your role-playing style is and how to communicate it in both what you're looking for other storytelling or role players around you, so you can find a comfortable area that you best fit in with others who are also going to have the same play style as you have, so that your games are more enjoyable and you are able to build up a supportive community to together share the tabletop role-playing systems that you enjoy in the hobby lifestyle. Please leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Leave me any feedback on what you would change or adjust if you had any agreements or disagreements. We'll probably do a follow-up video on this chart as I continue to fine-tune it and hear feedback and see what people think of it in the community. I'd love to hear your feedback, and until our next video, I hope you enjoy, and as you know, make sure to let us know, where will your adventures take you? Thanks for watching that video. I hope you enjoyed it. Here's another video I think you might enjoy. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up, and make sure to hit that bell so you get notifications whenever we post new videos. Help us answer the question of, where will your adventures take you?